अहो बत महत् पापम् कर्तुं व्यवसिता वयम् यद्राज्यसुखलोभेन यद्राज्यसुखलोभेन हन्तुं स्वजनमुद्यताः हन्तुं स्वजनमुद्यताः. Let's do the full line. अहो बत महत् पापम् कर्तुं व्यवसिता वयम् यद्राज्यसुखलोभेन हन्तुं स्वजनमुद्यताः. You guys have to be a little louder, okay? Varsha Vidra, will you repeat after me? Aho bata mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yadrajya sukhalobhena antum swajanamudyataha. When you lose all the hope, then obviously you will show the sign of distress. What are the different signs of distress that you can think of? Do you know what is distress, right? Chapratali Varsha, what is the sign of a distress?
You're sad and you don't talk to anyone.
You don't talk to anyone. That is one. Very good. Very good. You get calm అయిపోతాం మనం. డిస్ట్రెస్ అంటే ఏంటంటే కృతి తల్లి మనం ఏదో సాధించాలనుకుని ఏదో చేద్దాం అనుకుని చెయ్యలేకపోయి చాలా డిసప్పాయింటింగ్ గా అయిపోతాం. అవునా? దాన్ని డిస్ట్రెస్ అనే ఫీలింగ్ అంటాం. సో అలాంటప్పుడు మనం ఏం చేస్తాం అంటే వర్ష ఏం చెప్పింది, వి విల్ బికమ్ కామ్, వి విల్ బికమ్ సైలెంట్. ఏమి చెయ్యం, జస్ట్ సైలెంట్ అయిపోతాం, కామ్ అయిపోతాం, రైట్? సాడ్ గా. వాట్ ఎల్స్ కెన్ వి డూ? What do we do, Gautam, when we get distressed?
You avoid people.
That is one. Sometimes we make weird sounds. We do a lot of weird sounds. How? Here he is one more sound that Arjuna is making here. He is saying aho. Aho is the word where it is a sign of distress. It's like, oh my God, right? Oh my God. So we say, and sometimes you say, please leave me, right? So these are all signs of distress. Arjuna is making a big sound. He is saying, aho bata. Bata means the result, which is not favorable, is bata. Aho bata. What a kind of result is this? Why? Which result he is talking about? Now we have to always, whenever we read a shloka in Bhagavad Gita, it is a good practice to recollect what was there in the previous one, because there will be a link to it. In the previous one, he was telling all the issues, all the issues we will get into if the war happens. He says, if every man get killed, then the women will get alone, and then they will be like abused, harassed. They'll be married into wrong families. We'll have all different kinds of kids with different abilities and attitudes. We don't want that. And he said Varna Sankara will happen, where the discipline of specializing in an activity which has been running in that period of time will be lost. Everyone will try to do everything. And if you see, that's how it's happening in today's world, right? Everybody is like, I clean my house, I do a lot of labor, I fix my electrical things sometimes I do myself. I don't have any other option because I'll have to do myself, right? I do it. Similarly, I go, I teach, I study, I use my intellectual capacity to do something which is more sitting at a place and doing some bhajans and all. I also go back and try to produce wealth for a corporate firm, right? By working for that firm and applying certain things to make sure that the business grows. Now, all these things, what am I doing here? I'm doing all the activities of all the four varnas, and sometimes I protect. Sometimes I protect and safeguard my team, my family members, and my society members, right? So when we do that, we are what? We are a Kshatriya, we are a Brahmana, we are a Shudra, and we are a Vaishya, all combined. So in these days, it doesn't make any sense. Whether you are a Kshatriya or a Vaishya or a Shudra, we are actually doing, because that is by nature of what we are doing. And so we are doing everything now. In Kali Yuga, there is no Varna at all. It is already the reality. Varna Sankaraha, which Arjuna was trying to emphasize on, it is already a reality in Kali Yuga. So, Arjuna in those days was expecting this will happen, and he said, Aho bata mahat papam. This is the greatest sin, mahat. Whenever the word used mahat, remember, it is the extreme peak, the highest of all, the greatest of all. Mahat papam. If there were sins of different categories or different severities, the greatest sin is this. Whatever I have mentioned you, Krishna, so far, the results that will happen if I get into the war, those results will lead to highest sin. Kartum vyavasita vayam. Vayam means us. Vyavasita means deciding. If we decide, Krishna, you, me, and my army, if we decide to get into this war, there will be a greatest sin that we will all have to incur because of the imbalance in the society that we will bring. Today, dharma depends on working for your specialized activities. Based on your mental and physical abilities, you are working in a particular direction. That direction will be lost. So we will all end up into the opposite of dharma. Whenever you have to say opposite of something in Sanskrit, you put a word called in the beginning. Kanksha, akanksha. Sthira, asthira. Got it? Similarly here, he is saying that it will lead to adharma. Now, in the second line it says, Yad rajya sukhalobhena hantum swajanam udhyataha. What is he saying, Arjuna? Arjuna is saying, how can I kill? If I decide to kill my swajana, my own people, my kith and kin, my neighbors, my friends, my relatives, if I choose to kill them, if I decide, vyavasita, if I decide to kill them, if we decide to kill them, it will be a greatest sin. And why are we doing this, Krishna? Why are we doing this? Rajya sukha lobhena. Rajya sukha lobhena. For the kingdom, for the pleasure, and for the greed that I have. Why should I kill? Really? Did Arjuna had greed? Did he really get into the war because of greed? Did he had like 10 cities and did he wanted the 11th city? No. He didn't have anything. He was asking for his part of land which was to be given by Duryodhana after they finished the 14 years of jungle trip. When they comes back, it was the rule, they agreed upon a statement that once you come back, your Rajyam, your kingdom will be given to you. Duryodhana was not in the mood of giving back the kingdom. This is what happens when something you know it's not yours, but if it stays with long number of hours and days with you, you cannot part with it. You cannot get it away. Right? Suppose if I give you something and say, hey, take care of this, I'll come back after 5 years and I'll take this. Let's say I give my pet to you. and you are taking care of that pet for 5 years. Now I come after 5 years and say, can you give me? What will you say? This has been taken care for so long, how can I give you? Now it is mine, it actually listens to me, it comes to me all the time, how can I give it to you back? This is what Duryodhana did. But that is not correct. That is adharma. That is adharma. One that does not belong to me, I should not hold it. Right? I should not grab things that belong to others, which is adharma. He was not doing the right thing. Now, here he says, Arjuna is wrongly interpreting what he is into war. Why he is into the war? He is into the war to protect dharma. Whatever was right, he was supposed to behave. He was supposed to behave like a Kshatriya, protect his own wealth, if he cannot protect his own wealth, how can he protect the wealth of others, being a Kshatriya? So, Arjuna was supposed to be getting into this war, just to take the rightful action, not because of greed, not because of pleasure that he wanted, not because of kingdom that belongs to somebody else. But here he is using the words in a completely different way. Why he is using the words in a different way? Why is he using the words in a different way? Can anyone tell me? What makes Arjuna to use these words? Yad rajya sukha lobhena hantum swajanam udyataha. If we decide to kill our own kith and kin because of greed, kingdom and pleasure, it will incur the greatest sin. Of course, once you hear that sound, you will see, oh my God, yeah, he is right. But is every word in that statement right? Did he really get into the war because of greed? No, we know that. Then what makes Arjuna speak these words? What makes us speak the words that are not correct, but appears to be correct? What makes us to speak those words? You will say sharp, clever mind, smartness. Smartness to use wrong words to prove a point. Is that smartness? Is that goodness? Is that kindness? No. See, this is the skill everyone will have. Arjuna, we all will have the skill of using beautiful words, different words, not correct words to prove a point. We will all have that opportunity, and I believe everyone would have gone through that exercise one time or the other in life. But this is not correct. Arjuna is in a very, very wrong interpretation of his own mindset. If he cannot understand and communicate his own mindset, what else can he communicate? How will he know what is going in my mind, your mind? Yeah, Kriti. Yeah, Kriti Tali, you wanted to ask something?
Your voice is breaking.
My voice is breaking to everyone? Say yes, no? Okay, Nana, aithe okkari internet chusko talli. I think everybody else it is fine. So, now, my question was why Arjuna is speaking. This happens in a state called as delusion, ignorance. These are the words. Ante, manaki మన ప్యూర్ స్టేట్ ఏదైతే ఉందో, అంటే మన ప్రశాంతంగా ఉండేటప్పుడు, పీస్ఫుల్ గా ఉండేటప్పుడు మన స్టేట్ ఏదైతే ఉంటుందో మైండ్, సంథింగ్ ఓవర్కమ్స్ దట్ వెన్ యు ఆర్ agitated. When you are emotionally not in the right state, something comes and wraps that knowledge. And so what you see is not what is real. You will not be able to see the right knowledge. You will not be able to use the right knowledge to speak the right words. This is what happens when you are emotional. This is what happens when you are looking at the results. What are these? Sukha, Lobha, he is already, and Rajya. He is looking at the result. Arjuna is looking at the result of the war. What he should look at? Arjuna should look at the reasoning behind the war. Whether it is the right reasoning or the wrong reasoning. Simple. But what he is doing? He is already anticipating the results, what will happen. And based on what will happen, his logic is all lined up, isn't it? I know what will happen. I will kill all the people, they'll be dying, this will happen, that will happen. Those are all the results. Those are not actions. Those are all the results of the actions. నేను ఫెయిల్ అయిపోతాను, నాకు తక్కువ మార్కులు వస్తాయి, అందరూ నన్ను తిడతారు. These are all results. Those are not actions. Action ఏంటి? I have to go and write the exam, I have to study. That is an action. నాకు తక్కువ గ్రేడ్లు వస్తాయి, లేకపోతే నేను అందరికన్నా ఎక్కువ గ్రేడ్లు రావాలి, నేను రాకపోవచ్చు. How do you know? Arjuna is into that bad situation. And ఈ situation భగవంతుడు శ్రీకృష్ణ injected into him by showing all his relatives. ఎందుకంటే తనకు తెలుసు, when he looks into his relatives, he will get that attraction. In that attachment to relation, he will lose his knowledge, his ability to think properly. And he will probably use his wrong attitude and wrong mind and wrong inappropriate knowledge, misapprehensions, something that he cannot understand clearly. He will use those words. And he will get into a mess. Krishna knows everything. Right? So let's see what else he says. He says, Aho Bata. This is like distress, sign of distress. Now what he does on 56. Anshika, can you repeat after me? Both of you, if you can.
Yes, sir.
Yadi mama pratikaram.
Yati mama pratikaram.
Yadi mama pratikaram.
Yati mama pratikaram.
Ashastram shastrapanayah.
Ashastram shastrapanayah.
Ashastram shastrapanayah.
Ashastram shastrapanayah.
Very good. Dhatra rashtrarane hanyuhu.
Tartarashtrarane hanyuhu.
Tanme kshemataram bhavet.
Tanme kshemataram bhavet.
Tanme kshemataram bhavet.
Tanme kshemataram bhavet.
Let us try to chant the full lines now. Yadi mam apratikaram ashastram shastrapanayah.
Yadi mama pratikaram ashastram shastrapanayah.
Dhartra rashtrarane hanyuho tanme kshemataram bhavet.
Tartarashtrarane hanyuhu tanme kshemataram bhavet.
Very good, Talli. Yadi apratikaram. Karam ante entante, whenever you use the word kara, ka and ra together, it means an action. Okay? Karam is an action done, committed, a committed action. Pratikaram is an action committed as a response to something. That is called as pratikaram. In Telugu, pratikaram ante enti? Pratikaram ante enti in Telugu? Pratikaram ante revenge అని అనుకుంటాం. The word we use for revenge is pratikaram. కానీ revenge ఒక్కటే కాదు, response ని pratikaram అంటారు. In Sanskrit, that is the literal meaning. అంటే karaha is the work or action. Pratikaraha is a response to that action. Apratikaraha, మన ముందు ఆ పెడితే ఏమవుతుంది? So it is non-responsiveness to an action. చూసారా Sanskrit ఎంత simple language? All you have to do is break it up and then understand the words. Karaha, action. Pratikaraha, response to an action. Apratikaraha, non-responsiveness to an action. Apratikaraha. Yadi, if, mam, we, apratikaraha. Yadi mam apratikaram ashastram. Shastra panayah. Panaha means hands, limbs. The hands, the limbs that are holding these weapons, if we drop those, already he is saying what he is going to do. If we drop those weapons, if we do not respond to whatever those guys do, Dhatra Rashtra Rane Hanyuhu, let them kill. Even when we drop the weapons, when we don't do anything as a response to their activities, and when they start killing us, that situation, when it comes, tat me, that will be to me kshemataram. Kshema means what? Saving. Saving what? In Vedanta, in scriptures, in Upanishads, kshema means saving your materialistic glory. Or what is materialistic? I will be using this word very frequently. What is materialistic? It is exactly opposite of spiritualistic. Spiritualistic is something that remains with you forever. Materialistic is something that will remain with you temporarily, which keeps changing from one hand to the other hand. Best example is the money that you have in your wallet. Will it remain the same ever after? No. Today it is there, tomorrow it is the same bill, $5, $7, 10 rupees, 90 rupees. It will be someone's in some other wallet. It will keep moving. House, materialistic. Books, materialistic. Knowledge within the books, that's spiritual. If you wholeheartedly understand and read, it will become spiritual knowledge. It will be part of your spirit. It will no more be a temporary thing. You will understand, you will realize you can reproduce any number of times. So those are. So here he says kshema taram. Kshema means protecting or saving the materialistic assets or materialistic valuables that you have. Kingdom, friendship, relationships. Fame. Fame is also materialistic. Why? Do you have the same fame all the time? Today, people are appreciating you. Tomorrow, they will abuse you. They will say, Chichi, this boy is waste. It's not a good day. Today, they may say something. Tomorrow, they may say something else. Then how? A fame that is coming and going, how can that be spiritual? It is just materialistic. This is a simple litmus test. If you have to test whether something is materialistic or not, easiest thing is, ask yourself a question. Is this going to be permanent or temporary? If the answer comes as temporary, it is materialistic. Okay, na? So, he says, that will be good for me. Kshema taram. That will save all my materialistic glories and my materialistic possessions. How? He says, as long as I am alive, at least I will think these are all mine. When I am killed, I don't have anything because I don't have my life to think about what is mine, what is yours. Oh, it is my kingdom, your kingdom. When I die, there is nothing my kingdom. Right? There is no my wealth when I die. So it's okay. Until then, it is mine. So let them do whatever they want. I will not use any weapon. I will drop my weapons. Ashastra. Shastra panena ashastra. I'm holding these weapons, I'll drop them. This is sheer, I cannot explain the word, but this guy is completely in a different mindset. This is not the Arjuna that world knows. He wants to completely run away. He says, Apratikaram, I will not respond to anything. I will not respond. I will just sit quiet. This is what he's saying. And then what he does is explained by Sanjaya. Arjuna will just say those last words, and then Sanjaya is explaining to Dhritarashtra on what is happening in the field of war. So let's see the last verse of this chapter, verse 47. And Kriti Talli, are you there? I think she just dropped off. Her network connection was poor initially. Okay.
Yeah, I'm there.
Oh, Yumna Talli, sorry, I'm not able to see you. No. Okay. Chalo. Now, can you just chant after me now? 47. Unda ni digara? Book unda?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Sanjaya Uvacha.
Sanjaya Uvacha.
Eva Muktvarjuna Sankhye. Time తీసుకో పర్వాలేదు. ఏ 47th నానా. Eva Muktva.
Ena Muktva.
Eva. Evam. Uktva. ఇలాగా అని ఇలా చెప్పి ఏవం ఉక్త్వా. Evam uktva.
Evam uktva.
కాదు నాన్న. ఏవం ఉక్త్వా. ఏవం ఉక్త్వా. ఏవం ఉక్త్వార్జున సంఖ్యే.
ఏవం ఉక్త్వా
అర్జున సంఖ్యే. రథోపస్థ.
రథోపస్థ.
ఉపవిశత్.
ఉపవిశత.
విసృజ్య సశరం.
విసృజ్య సశరం.
చాపం.
చాపం.
శోక సంవిఘ్న.
శోక సంవిఘ్న.
మానసః.
మానసః.
మళ్ళీ చెప్పుకుందాం. అర్జున ఉవాచ.
అర్జున ఉవాచ.
ఏవముక్త్వార్జున సంఖ్యే.
అంకుల్ సంజయ్ సంజయ్
I'm sorry, it is Sanjay Vacha, correct. Sorry, my bad. Sanjaya Vacha.
Sanjaya Vacha.
Eva Muktvarjuna Sankhye.
Eva Muktvarjuna Sankhye.
Rathopastha Upavishat.
Radopastha Upavishata.
Very good. Visrujya Sasharam Chapam.
Visrujya Sasaram Chapam.
Shoka Samvigna Manasaha.
Shoka Samvigna Mavasata. Shoka
Samvigna Manasaha.
Sanvigna Mavasata.
Manasaha ante manastalli. Manasaha. Right?
Manasaha.
Correct. So ikkada Sanjaya. Now the camera has again moved to Sanjaya. This director called Vyasa, while writing, he again moved what is happening in Hastinapura, Delhi, where Sanjaya is also telling exactly what is happening on the war ground to Dhritarashtra. Ante kada మనం అక్కడి నుంచి కదా స్టార్ట్ చేసాం, ధర్మక్షేత్రే కురుక్షేత్రే. సో ధృతరాష్ట్రుడికి రిపోర్టింగ్ అవుతోంది ఇప్పుడు. Sanjaya is telling Dhritarashtra, what is he telling? Evam uktva Arjuna Sankhye. Sankhye means, Sankhya has got different meanings. One of the meaning is war. Sankhye means in the war. Evam uktva Arjuna. After saying this, Evam uktva. Uktva means speaking. After speaking these words, Arjuna, what he has done in the war? Rathopastha. He just sat down in the chariot next to the flagpole. He just dropped the weapons, sat down. Upavishat. Rathopastha. In his ratha, he just sat down. Upavishat. Visrujya sasharam chapam. Sharaha means what? Dhanush. Chapaha means the one that has the arrows, right? So all the arrows and there will be a small pocket in which you keep all the arrows. Chapaha. Both the arrows as well as everything he dropped. He was telling from long back, Gandivam samsrate hastat. Priti told already 30th, right? So he was already saying, Gandivam, I'm not able to hold my weapon. Now he dropped everything and he just sat down. How he is sitting down? Is he sitting down with lot of peace, lot of happiness, lot of relaxation that, oh my God, now I don't have to fight? No. Shoka samvigna manasaha. Isn't this what we were discussing earlier? When you don't do certain things that you must do or you are good at doing it and you don't do it for whatever reason. Here the reason is foolish relationship between all the different people around him, pre-assuming what the result will be, and based on the results, keeping and thinking a lot about it, he just dropped the activity that he wanted to do or what he must do. No other person can do in his place. Nobody can replace Arjuna. There is a reason why Krishna was his charioteer. Now he has dropped that responsibility and he has dropped down and he is sitting quietly, happily. Can he be happy? Can you be happy when you are supposed to do something and when you don't do? Will you be happy? You may appear to be relaxed, but it is not relaxation. There will be pain. There will be sorrow somewhere inside. You will not be able to know that. Here, it is very clear that Arjuna is going through all this pain and turbulence just because he is anticipating something really bad. Something that is completely out of context. And then now he is fully loaded with Vigna, Samvigna, which means full of pain and full of trouble and full of problems. And his heart is carrying all that heavy baggage of pain and struggle and sitting quietly on the Ratha. Who is telling this? Sanjaya. To whom? Sanjaya is giving this explanation to whom? Dhritarashtra. Why? What will Dhritarashtra think now? Imagine if he says that your son's opponent is like completely lost, he is disappointed and he is sitting, he has thrown all the weapons, now he is sitting quietly. What will Dhritarashtra think? Yeah, Vidra?
Maybe a little happy that he won.
Correct. He will think that they already won. He will think that the war is one-sided now. We are already winning the war. He will think because he is selfish. Mamaka Pandavaschaiva, he said. He will now think the war is one-sided. We are going to win the war. Right? See, there will be some happiness, obviously. Dhritarashtra will be happy after listening to that. I can tell you that. If I was in Dhritarashtra's place, I would have been happy that, oh, thankfully, there is no war. I didn't want it to hurt Pandavas. I didn't want Pandavas to lose their lives. Something good happened. My sons will now retain the land, and because they are saying it's okay, they are giving away from the war, they will be spared by my sons. So at least war can now be called off. Who should call off the war? Who has the rightful decision-making power to call off the war? Isn't it Dhritarashtra? He should have done that long back. Now he is happy that something of that nature is happening, but without his involvement. King is also not following dharma. As a king, he should stop the war, saying, Duryodhana, Yudhishthira, you come to the spot, I want to talk to you. Duryodhana, what you are doing is not correct. As per the rules, we agreed we will be giving their land back. Please give it to them back. Simple. Do not fight with each other. Simple. He did not do that. my son actually is willing to keep it. What is wrong? My son is such a nice kid. I love him. So whatever he does, let him do it. I think it's okay. Why Arjuna needs anything? He can stay with us, not doing anything, just here, and we'll give him some bread to eat. We will give him some money to lavishly enjoy his life. See, father's love, sometimes you pamper kids in such a way that you sometimes forget that you're not doing the right thing. This is for all the parents, including me, right? When we pamper a lot, we forget that some of the things where we should have said no, we did not say no. Dhritarashtra did the same thing. And he is now probably happy, and I am sure he will be happy that war is not going to happen, which is what he should have done, but he is still happy that it's not going to happen. And the victory is towards Duryodhana's side. He will get into that state. Now remember, difference between happiness and pleasure. They both appear same. They both give same kind of emotion to the heart. But happiness stays forever. Pleasure remains for a small period of time. That small period could be 1 year, 20 years, whatever it is, but it is temporary. It will fade away one day. Such a kind of mental peace, which is definitely not permanent, is pleasure. So I can bet whatever Dhritarashtra is going through is not happiness. When Krishna is there as the controller, such adharmic pleasure will not survive forever. So let Dhritarashtra be happy towards the end of the chapter, but it may not be a permanent affair. Now, one more thing I wanted to tell you. Whenever in Upanishads, what is Upanishad? Gurudev has mentioned very clearly. Upanishad. Upanishad. Yeah? Shad means sitting. Upanishad means sitting next to a teacher and learning. Whatever you learn, it is Upanishad. So why you have to sit next to the teacher? Because Upanishads are cryptic texts. You can interpret very easily the text in a wrong way. They are coded texts. It's not easy to understand them the way they are put up. So you need to sit with the Guru. That's why they are called as Upanishads. So whenever we finish any Upanishad, we usually repeat the last verse twice. This is how it happens. Even in Vishnu Sahasranam, you will see Vanamali, Gadi, Shangi, Shankhi, Chakri, Chanandaki. You repeat multiple times. Right? To mention that is the end of that Upanishad, that sacred text. So here in Gita, the way we end is, we actually say a Sankalpa Vakya. Sankalpa Vakya means it is a declaration that a milestone has been achieved and we can pause and make a forward movement to a new dimension of thought. So that comes through a Sankalpa Vakya. And the Sankalpa Vakya for Bhagavad Gita is Om Shrimat Iti Shrimat Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishadsu, which means this is a declaration that in Bhagavad Gita, in this Upanishad that you have to learn sitting next to the teacher. Now we cannot sit next to my Gurudev. So what I do, I sit next to his beautiful commentary that he has written in this book. Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam, the knowledge that is of extreme importance and the highest knowledge. Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. That means you have a unification method where you can unify everything together. Yoga Shastra, the science of unification. Yoga Shastre, Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade, as a dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna. Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. Then you tell what is the name of the story, name of the chapter. Here it is Arjuna Vishada Yoga Nama. The name of the chapter is Arjuna Vishada Yoga. And which chapter is this? Prathamo Adhyayaha, the first chapter. Here comes to an end, is what you say. So, who can repeat after me? Okay. Varsha, Vidura, Akshita, everybody. Okay, so one after the other. Varsha, you tell that first. Om Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu. Oh, Om Tat Sat Iti.
Om Tat Sthiti.
Tat Sat Iti. Om Tat Sat
Om Tat Sat
Iti.
Iti.
Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu.
Bhagavad Gitasu.
Upanishatsu.
Upanishatsu.
Brahma Vidyayam.
Brahma Vidyayam.
Yoga Shastre.
Yoga Shastre.
Shri Krishnarjuna Samvade.
Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade.
Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama.
Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama.
Prathamodhyayaha.
Prathamodhyayaha.
Very good. Akshita Anshika. Om Tat Sat
Om Tat Sat
Iti
Iti
Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu
Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu
Upanishatsu
Upanishatsu
Brahma Vidyayam
Brahma Vidyayam
Yoga Shastre
Yoga Shastre
Shri Krishnarjuna Samvade
Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade
Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama
Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama
Prathamo Adhyayaha.
Prathamodhyayaha.
Priti, Chapna Nana. Om
Om
Tat Sat
Atsata
Iti
Iti
Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu
Srimad Bhagavad Gita Tasu
Upanishatsu
Upanishatsu
Brahma Vidyayam
Brahma Vidyayam
Yoga Shastre
Yoga Shastre
Shri Krishnarjuna Samvade
Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade
Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama
Arjuna Visharyogo Nama
Prathamodhyayaha.
Prapamodhyayaha.
Anybody else wanted to say? Mayuka or Lasya?
Yes, uncle.
Nu chappagalva nana? Do you want me to say that?
We have another
చెప్పండి అంకుల్ నా దగ్గర బుక్స్ లేదు
Akshita, okay nana. I know you have a class now. You can leave. That's fine. Mayuka nu chappagalva nana?
అంటే అంకుల్ బుక్ లో అది లేదు సో
సరే నేను చెప్తానైతే నా వెనకతలు చెప్పు. ఓం తత్ సత్
ఓం తత్ సత్
శ్రీమద్
ఇతి శ్రీమద్
భగవద్గీతాసు
భగవద్గీతాసు
ఉపనిషత్సు బ్రహ్మ విద్యాయాం యోగశాస్త్రే శ్రీకృష్ణార్జున సంవాదే అర్జున విషాదయోగో నామ Prathamodhyayah.
प्रथमो अध्यायः
Okay. And whoever else want to say, you can say that, or what I will do is, you can see this video later on, and we will practice this. Okay?
Can I say?
Chepna, last time. If you want to say, say. You already know that. So if you want to say on your own, that's fine.
I'll say on my own.
Chepna.
Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Arjuna Vishada Yogo Nama Pradamo Adhyayah.
దీన్ని ఏమంటారు? ఈ వర్డ్ ఏమంటారు? ఈ పర్టికులర్ స్టాండ్స్ అని ఏమంటారు? మర్చిపోయారా? సంకల్ప వాక్య. నోట్ చేసుకోండి. సంకల్ప వాక్య. భగవద్గీతలో సంకల్ప వాక్య ఏమిటి అంటే, యూ హావ్ టు సే దిస్. గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండి. ఆల్ రైట్, లెట్స్ డూ ద క్లోజింగ్ ప్రేయర్స్. ओम सर्वेषां स्वस्थिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु, सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु, सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु, सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मामृतं गमय. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांतिः. हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ओम. यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं तु यद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देव. नारायण नमोऽस्तुते. श्रीनारायण नमोऽस्तुते. अतः सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणम् अस्तु. All right. Next week, come prepared with whatever you have understood from all these 47 verses. And then, if you can provide a summary, each one of you, that will be awesome. We will just go through the gist of the summary of chapter 1 and then slowly transition into chapter 2 if time permits, or we will take chapter 2 the next week. But I would like to hear from each one of you what you have understood. It could be one-liner, or it could be a particular shloka that was of attention to you, a greatest attention to you, which you want to like memorize or which you want to like look upon.
Can it
for
be
long.
2 paragraphs long?
Enana?
Can it be 2 paragraphs long?
Can you?
Can it be 2 paragraphs long?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it could be any longer. Don't worry about the timing. You can tell whatever, or you can repeat. If, let's say, if you are saying after somebody, if they have already told and that's what exactly you wanted to say, it is okay. Just repeat it. Repetition is always good in things like this. Okay? So, yeah, Vidra?
Can it be simple?
You can be anything, Nana. There is nothing called simple or complex or complicated. You can just speak like how you are speaking now. Okay? All right. Don't worry. No rules. Nothing. Just stay normal, stay casual, and tell me what you understood. It could be like, I did not understand anything, but I'm trying to understand. That is also fine. Okay, Nana? But try to come out with what you have learned from this chapter. It's only for our own reflection. All right. See you all then. Have a wonderful rest of the week. Catch up next week, next Sunday. Hari Om. Jai Shri Krishna.
Bye.
Bye, Anai. Bye, Tali.
Bye.
Bye, bye.